Hi, I'm Mark McPherson. This short video is an adjunct to a video I've already produced on one of the 11 essential fundamental core non-verbal communication skills. This video is an adjunct to the video I've already produced on associating, joining, linking one concept, idea, emotion with another and dissociating or separating them. Someone asked me for a few extra examples, so here I am. I was at a church service not that long ago, and the minister, reverend, priest, I'm sorry I'm not aware of the exact terminology I should be using, but said something like this. So I was reading the Bible and they put their hand up like this. They didn't actually have a Bible, but they indicated this was the Bible. Now I think the attribute in most people's minds is it's a good thing, the good book. So they said, I was reading the Bible, and then they moved their hand like this. They didn't actually have a Bible, but to me, the Bible is a good thing. They were now bringing the Bible here, associating themselves with a good thing. Bible's a good book. I'm a good person. Now, it's not quite as blatant as that. They're not saying, I am therefore a good person, but I think you get the point, associating good things with them physically. Now, I was at a staff meeting way back in 1977. It's a very, very long time ago. But I remember going to a staff meeting and there was about 140 people on the staff, and I'm sure that they weren't all there at the staff meeting. But I said to my friend something like this, oh, where will we sit? And he said, oh, I don't know. And I said something like, oh, let's sit over there. And my friend said something along the lines of, oh, I don't want to sit next to him. He says silly things. I don't want to be associated with him. So you can see that just being physically near someone, you are associated with them. Now, I don't think people really would rationally say, you are sitting next to them, therefore you are a silly person too. But you can get my point that just physically being near something, close to something, in proximity to something, that we are somehow associated with it. Some of the silliness of that person might rub off onto us or something. But you can see my point. Television does it pretty well. Television, to dissociate one idea, concept, story from another, they have all sorts of tricks, and one of those is simply to use different cameras. So they're talking about one issue and then they look at a different camera and say, meanwhile, blah, 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 blah. So they can do that in the editing process as well, is that they can dissociate one story, issue, idea, concept, emotion even from another. Now this is incredibly important. Sometimes you can just continue on story after story, but what if one story, for example, was about a bushfire, and maybe there was, as sad as this is, loss of life, not just loss of property, but loss of life. And then the next story was somewhat more light-hearted. Well, you just can't continue on. You really need to separate these two. And one way of doing it is to look at a different camera. It clearly says, that story's finished, we're now on to something else. Look, they're just some brief examples. I was asked to give some extra examples, so there's some how we sometimes associate one thing with another, and how we sometimes need to dissociate or separate these things. Let's leave it there. All the very best. As I always say, whatever you're doing, wherever you are, look after yourself, look after your friends and family. I do hope to chat to you soon. See you later.